You wouldn't believe this true cyber heist if it weren't fully documented. In 2020, an ordinary hospital janitor in Argentina turned stolen electricity into $500,000 in crypto. Sit tight. Let me show you exactly how it happened. What if the person stealing from your hospital wasn't a hacker behind a screen, but the man sweeping the floors every night? It began quietly, deep inside a hospital in Buenos Aires, where lights flickered at night and bills kept rising with no explanation. Doctors blamed old wiring, managers blamed air conditioners, but no one thought something hidden was eating the power alive. Then came the night when a power cut stopped an operation mid-surgery, forcing the hospital to run blind in the dark. Technicians searched for faults, following wires through walls and vents, unaware they were chasing a ghost below. Behind an old laundry wall, they heard a low hum, like something alive, breathing in the dark. When they broke through the wall, heat poured out. Inside, rows of glowing machines devouring power. A janitor named Ricardo had built a crypto mine right inside the hospital, powered by stolen electricity. He started small, one GPU from a pawn shop, then kept adding more until his machines glowed hotter than the hospital lights. By winter, his rigs were pulling enough power to light an entire wing, while patients upstairs wondered why the lights kept dying. The technicians watched in silence as the power graph bled red, rising higher every hour, yet no one could explain why. When one engineer touched the main cable, the heat bit through his glove. Something unseen was feeding below. They traced the blueprints again and again until every arrow pointed to the same forgotten basement wall. On the night shift feed, a janitor's shadow passed the laundry door at the exact second the readings spiked. Security was called. 3 guards moved in, quiet, slow, guided only by the hum beneath their feet. Outside the locked maintenance room, wet footprints trailed through the dust, proof someone had been there minutes before. A green light blinked, the door clicked, and the stairwell exhaled hot air like something alive. Down below, Ricardo sat among the glow of stolen power, watching his digital coins multiply on the screen. Then one monitor went dark. The hum faltered. Ricardo froze, listening to a silence that suddenly felt personal. Upstairs, the hospital dimmed again. Machines shut off mid-procedure, alarms echoing as lives hung in pause. In the basement, Ricardo restarted his rigs, desperate to keep them breathing, unaware that eyes were now watching. Above him, nurses ran through flickering halls, their world collapsing one circuit at a time. Security reviewed the feeds, static, distortion, heat haze, but for a split second, they saw movement. They followed the sound, boots sinking into warmth, each step louder than the last. Ricardo wiped his face and turned toward the noise. Someone was coming. He could feel the floor tremble. The door burst open. Flashlights cut through the glow, freezing him mid-breath between fear and denial. His hand slammed the enter key, a single click that sent his last transaction into the dark. The machine screamed, lights flared, wires burned. Ricardo ran, chased by the roar of melting circuits. He bolted up the stairwell, clutching the hard drive like his soul was inside it. Outside, sirens converged on the hospital. The ghost miner's world was about to end. Ricardo burst through the hospital's service door, the heat from the basement chasing him like a ghost he'd built himself. He knew the exits better than anyone. Years of cleaning every hallway had taught him the hospital's blind spots. Above, the security team split, some guarding the main exit, others flooding every corridor, looking for the ghost miner. Ricardo slipped into a linen storage room, heart pounding, his mind racing faster than the fans he'd left burning. He checked the hard drive, wallets, logs, keys, everything still intact. But the power he stole had already vanished. The lights above flickered again. Power was unstable, and this time, even his rigs wouldn't come back. Security closed in, narrowing the circle around him. Every hallway, every shadow, was now a trap. He bolted again, through the surgical ward this time, where patients still slept under flickering machines. He reached the emergency exit, but the power lock needed current, and the system was dead. Behind him, the flashlights grew brighter. He knew this was the end of his secret, of his invisible empire. When the flashlights caught him, Ricardo didn't run. He froze, bathed in white light, the secret burning behind his blank stare. He raised his hands, calm, silent, as if surrendering not to the guards, but to the storm he'd unleashed. The guards moved in, unaware the air was still alive with power, his machines refusing to die quietly. Then came the spark, one final breath from the ghost mine that refused to fade. Power surged through the hallway. Light strobed like lightning in a storm trapped underground. When the power finally collapsed, silence hit harder than the noise that came before it. They took him without a fight. No words, no excuses. Only the faint glow of his machines dying in the dark. Upstairs, reporters gathered before sunrise, their cameras catching a man who didn't even have a face to blame. In interrogation, the officers waited for confession. He gave them only a blank stare and a single question. Do you pay your own power? Outside, the hospital lights stayed off for days, but in the distance, new machines were already humming somewhere else. Weeks later, the hospital reopened under new management. No one spoke of the basement or the man who lived in its glow. The old laundry room was sealed with concrete, the heat gone, but the walls still hummed when you stood too close. Ricardo was transferred to a quiet facility outside the city. The guard said he never asked for sunlight, only for a socket. Some say the power bills dropped after his arrest. Others swear the meters still spike at midnight. In the end, the ghost miner wasn't just a man. He was proof that even power has ghosts, and they never rest.